to my channel. I know it's been a while since I made a longer form video, but here we are. Please remember to go over to my TikTok and let's get started. So I recently watched We Were Liars. It's based off a book series, I believe. I did read the book back in like high school, and I knew how this series would end, but I found the show better than the book. Now, this whole story is told from Cadence's perspective, and the island in which her grandfather owns, and then her family. Now, Cadence is the typical blonde, white, rich girl from a wealthy family with a long lineage that goes back decades, right? What I found interesting about this whole series is the fact that the influence of the guy that she likes makes her make a stupid mistake, which makes sense because at this point she's 17 and she just completely wants to break away from the shackles of her family. Now, it does end in tragedy, and she does end up completely traumatized by the experience. Now, this picture perfect white family is the stereotypical idealization that people go for, right? And I really wanted to make this video because I was getting a lot of vibes of how this family structure is built on. For example, from the Kennedys. The Kennedys are one of the most famous families ever in US history, mainly because of their ties to politics, but they're very picturesque, right? But this whole family is full of secrets and mistakes that they've made. Now, one of the most famous Kennedys that we know of is President John F. Kennedy. Now, we all know this man is imperfect, right? He had affairs, he died tragically, and he was a president. But I can't help to compare his family and the machine that backed him to the St. Clairs in this TV show. It all stems from her grandparents. They want to keep up appearances so bad. They want to keep up old traditions that no longer work. They want to pit their children against one another. And honestly, this is the inner workings of a richer family. This is how I expect it to go. They don't really truly love their children. And if they do, they don't know how to show it. The whole series, these three sisters are fighting over materialistic stuff. And occasionally emotions do come through, but it's quickly swept away. And in doing this, their children have had enough, especially Cadence has had enough of this dysfunction. Every summer, the island is supposed to be a utopia for Cadence and her family. But cracks start to show as she gets older and she has differences with her family, which makes sense. Cadence at the end chooses not to follow her mother or her aunt's footsteps. She chooses her own path, which is great. and her grandfather ends up being disappointed and lost in the past almost. So heavily reminds me of the Kennedys. I don't know what the new Kennedys are doing. Younger Kennedys, I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They probably have more free will than the first generation of Kennedys, but just wanted to make that parallel. Now, in a world where we have a bunch of billionaires and they are intertwined with all of our merchandise and different companies that we deal with every day, as long as they have children, their children will be a part of their company and probably suffer the same way that the Sinclairs do. Just want to throw that out there because honestly, I cannot see a man ahead of his family and wanting his children to be working for his company or different branches of his company. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please head over to my TikTok. I would love it if you gave me a follow, but as long as you go and watch my stuff, that's all right with me. And I will see you in the next one.